Hey folks, how's it going? I apologize for not uploading any videos over the past couple of weeks. I've been laid up with a really bad upper respiratory infection. I'm just now starting to feel better. I'm not completely 100%. You might be able to hear that in my voice. But I didn't want to come on here making videos while I'm doing a bunch of coughing and hacking and so forth. So anyway, this video, I want to talk about ammo again. An article just came out from Newsweek.com about ammo prices are set to rise substantially. Vista Outdoor, a parent company to many firearms businesses, told Newsweek that it will substantially increase its ammunition prices due to an anticipated global shortage of gunpowder. The Minnesota-based company confirmed the authenticity of a December 1st letter sent to customers that would go ahead with an across-the-board increase of its ammunition and gunpowder prices on January 1st. Due to world events, our suppliers have notified us of unprecedented demand for and an anticipated global shortage of gunpowder, and thus has increased our prices substantially. Vice President of Sales, Sporting Products Brett Nelson said in the letter, "We must therefore raise our pricing to help offset those increases." Companies that will increase their prices include Remington, Reliant Powder, CCI, Federal, Sevi Shot, and Spear. The following increases include shot shell, 1 to 7% increase. Rifle, 1 to 7% increase. Handgun, 1 to 5% increase. 22 LR shorts, 1 to 5%. WMR, HMR, 1 to 7%. Primers, a 5% increase. Reliant powder, the powder alone, 10%, limited availability. The Vista Outdoors also told customers that unless they cancel an order, it will reprice existing and future orders shipped on or after January 1st, 2024 to the new prices. New price lists will follow in the coming weeks, Nelson said in the letter. Ammunition prices have steadily increased over the decades, including a notable hike during COVID-19 pandemic, as supplies soared while supply chains were heavily disrupted. While Vista Outdoors did not specifically say which world events contributed to the increase, the war in Ukraine and the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza have resulted in substantial demand for ammunition. Following a call for support from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Vista Outdoor pledged in March 2024 to support the country through a 1 million round ammunition donation. Supporting the relief effort is a crucial element of the global response, and we are proud to do our part, Vista Outdoor said in the release. It underscores how critical the Second Amendment is in America and highlights the importance of the availability of American manufacturers to supply our allies with ammunition. We have long supported Ukrainian armed forces, and we will continue to do so in this global cause to unite for democracy. In September, NATO allies and partners met in Paris and agreed to $2.58 billion worth of contracts and orders for hundreds of thousands of pieces of key ammunition. The first deliveries were scheduled to start towards the end of this year. NATO has tried and tested structures for joint procurement, and they are delivering. I welcome allies' commitment to making major new investments in ammunition, Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said in September. All right, so along with a slew of new anti-gun legislation that's being introduced over the past week or two and over the next couple of weeks, including one that is, for all intents and purposes, designed to gut the Second Amendment. This is automatically going to create a strain on the existing ammunition supply. And as I said in my last video, why you should be stacking ammo, I talked about how those legislation attempts are really one of the main causes of why there's panic buying with ammunition and firearms as well. I've seen over the past couple of weeks, I haven't been doing any videos about it, but I've seen over the past couple of weeks new legislation coming out. Some has been shot down. Some hasn't. Some are still being introduced. Quite a variety. One of them, the one in particular, is attacking the Second Amendment in almost every way imaginable. And it's calling for a lot of things that won't work, a lot of things that are already law and aren't being enforced, so they don't work. So it clearly represents how little the anti-gun community understands about current existing legislation, laws, and how well that works. This is nothing more than feel good, do something, making a statement legislation. And we can expect a lot more of that with the election coming up. I don't think there's any coincidence in the fact that some of this legislation was shot down in Congress, and immediately following that, there were mass shootings. I can't prove that there is a connection to the two, but there does seem to be a pattern in legislation being introduced, it not being successfully passed through the House or the Senate, and then not long after, mass shootings happen in places where guns were not allowed. You have to make up your mind about that on your own. My personal belief is there's probably more than just a coincidence going on there, but I don't have any proof, any evidence of it, and I certainly don't put it past some of our politicians and lobbyists and the intelligence agencies to manipulate things in order to push their agendas. They obviously want a disarmed populace. I mean, they've made that clear time and time again. So we can expect more of that, particularly leading up to the election. We've seen an increase in global conflict, what with Ukraine and Russia, then Israel and Hamas, and a lot of people aren't talking about it, and I intend to do a video on it later on, about Guyana having located they're a very poor country, a very small, poor country, and they located some oil reserves within their borders. Now suddenly Venezuela is making moves that indicate that they intend to seize the land that is rightfully Guyana's by claiming that it belonged to Venezuela all along. So there's the possibility for another front to kick off there. There has been indication from the White House that the White House is planning to support and side with Guyana. There's military buildup with Venezuela and their allies. Guyana is making gestures and talks with their allies about building up military strength. So that is very much a high possibility of a conflict kicking off down in South America that could potentially draw the U.S. into that, which would be a third front on our global conflict. And then, of course, we still have issues with Korea, Iran, China, and Taiwan. So, globally, the situation continues to deteriorate. So you've got legislation, anti-gun legislation, putting pressure on ammo supplies. People are going to be hoarding because of that. Prices are already going up. Those are substantial increases. One of the pieces of legislation introduced has suggested an ammo tax of 50%. So they're pushing for that as well. You've got these global conflicts. You've got potential civil unrest ramping up here at home over the pro-Hamas, pro-Israel divide. And then you got potential civil unrest from election divisions. And then the general high crime rate because Democrat governors, mayors, and attorney generals don't want to prosecute any crimes. Unless, of course, they were committed by a conservative, in which case they want to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. While if it's a crime committed by someone on the left that pushes the leftist agenda in some way, or foments more division, they're fine with letting that go. We've seen that time and time again as well. My point is that we're continuing to see more pressures on the ammo supply and firearms industries. A lot of this ammo is being bought up by the military, being promised to foreign militaries at the sacrifice of the U.S. citizen, the civilians here in America. And it's my belief we should rank as high as the military in the need for having access to these things, but obviously the government thinks that we shouldn't have access to it. So if they can absorb the supply on hand, to them, I'm sure they look at it like that's just that much more ammunition that the civilian market doesn't have access to. Sort of a backdoor method of controlling the ammo supply. So again, I still stand by the fact that I think you should be stacking ammo. For these reasons and many more. Just be prepared for the fact that this ammo, the prices will be going up. The supplies on available calibers, particularly the more popular calibers, will most likely dry up even more than anticipated. This is going to be an ongoing problem, folks. And if you're like me, if you're very Second Amendment, very pro-2A, and believe in having firearms to be able to defend yourself and your family, either from roving criminals, in the event of a foreign invasion, or for the whole sole purpose of what the Second Amendment was created for, defense against a tyrannical government, however you want to look at that, I strongly suggest you continue to stack, and stack as well. The prices will be going up, which means it's not really ideal to be stacking ammo when the prices are going up. However, I think at this time, we don't really have a choice. I know there are some of my viewers that are very pacifist. They don't believe in firearms. They don't believe in violence. And while I disagree with that attitude, I will defend your right to have that particular stance. I don't agree with it, but you have the freedom to choose that for yourself if you want to. Just understand that even if you're noble enough to be a pacifist and not believe in violence, there are many, many people out there that will have no compunctions about committing violence against you, regardless of how you feel about acts of violence. So just understand that if you are a pacifist and you believe in nonviolence, non-aggression, that's all well and good, but I guarantee you there's people out there, they won't care about that, and they will still attack you, assault you, and rob you at the drop of a hat. If they think that they have the opportunity and can get away with it, they will do it. So just understand, you have a right to make that choice for yourself, but understand the potential consequences of that choice. Personally, I think everybody should have a means of defending themselves and the willingness to do so. Just because you have the means to and the willingness to defend yourself and your family doesn't mean you actively go out and look to commit acts of violence. On the contrary, I'm the type of guy that the last thing I want to do is hurt anybody. The last thing I want is conflict with anyone. However, I know that there are people out there that have no issue committing insane acts of violence and harm against people. And I will not stand by and watch my family be hurt because I'm not willing to act. So, that's just my personal stance. To each their own. Everybody has to make up their own mind about what's right for them. That's just my views on it. But understand, ammo prices are going to be going up for a variety of reasons. The wars, the legislation, the attack on the Second Amendment, people stacking. Prices will be going up. And at this point, I don't believe you can afford to wait for the prices to come down, because I think we're going into an era of continual global warfare. So I don't see these prices coming down to pre-pandemic levels or lower for many, many years to come, if at all. So my belief is you really can't afford to wait for any potential price drops. If you haven't been stacking, if you don't already have a good supply on hand, you need to be stacking right now. Sorry about that. That's my views. I just wanted to bring this to you, get this out. It's been 2, 3, 4 weeks since I've done any serious videos, with the exception of this last one that I did. It's because I've been really under the weather, and my voice hasn't been to the quality to where I thought I could put out a decent video. I am feeling a little bit better. I've still got a little ways to go on the recovery road, but I wanted to get this out to you while I still could. And hopefully I can get some more videos out over the next few days. But understand, this is the world we live in. This is where we're going. This is what you can expect. So prepare accordingly. Make your own determinations and prepare accordingly. With that, folks, that's all I've got for right now. I appreciate you watching. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't. And as always, folks, stay safe, take care, keep prepping, and try to look out for each other. And this world has got enough problems without everybody attacking each other. We need to look out for one another if possible. Just because we're living in these questionable times, these difficult times, with the potential for even harder times to come, doesn't mean we should stop being kind people when possible. So help each other out when you can. Be kind to each other. There's enough hatred and violence in this world already without us adding to it. All right, that's all I've got. Until next time, folks, take care, and I'll catch you later.